I'd like to talk about one more very special student, and that student comes from the University of the Sacred Heart. That student is Mrs. Sadako Ogata. Our founder, Mrs. Ogata, graduated from the University of the Sacred Heart with a bachelor's degree in English literature. She then pursued her education in some of the world's most prestigious other universities as Sacred Heart, known as Georgetown and Berkeley. Without the opportunities for higher education, perhaps it would not have been possible for her to take on the leadership roles that she has throughout her entire life. Mrs. Ogata went on to become a professor herself and then a dean. While she was still in the academic world, she was called upon to represent Japan in the United Nations, became part of the executive board of the United Nations Children's Fund, and in 1990 was the first ever woman to become the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and then the first woman to lead JICA. This path, which started at the University of the Sacred Heart, also led her to create Red International, and without her, I would not be standing in front of you today, and we would not be able to have impacted the over 1 million students, 1.2 million to be exact, students we've had around the world, and over 20,000 educators, teachers, professors that we have had working in our organization. Today, we have 1,300 employees around the world, and we hope to impact many, many more millions of young student lives. Finally, I cannot end this address without saying a few words on yet another woman leader. 200 years ago, the founder of the University of the Sacred Heart, Mother Madeleine Sophie Barat, sought to educate women. At that time, this may have seemed preposterous to some, as it was widely accepted that women should not be in decision-making positions. Luckily, through the years, things have changed very much in these last 2 centuries. Before being the CEO of RET International, I had a 23-year career in executive management of large multinational corporations in the automotive and telecommunications sectors. I was responsible for marketing, communications, public relations, advertising, sponsorships, corporate social responsibility. My annual budget was $100 million a year. Our environment is often still quite male-dominated, and while Mrs. Ogata and I managed to break through the glass ceiling in very large bureaucratic industries and infrastructure, whether private sector or governments or multilateral environments, we cherish and attribute our success to what has allowed us to reach these levels of responsibilities because of the great education that we had access to. The economic expansion of the last century amongst developed nations was in large part due to the gradual opening of the labor market, political institutions, and academia to women. This is also valid for fragile environments, and this is also very valid for refugees. At RET, we have time and again observed that by working consistently with vulnerable young women, our programs not only respond to pressing needs, but had far greater impact. Young women are very often at the heart of the family. They influence children's education, they play important roles in health, nutrition, as well as household management and income. An old adage is that one girl child educates 5 additional members of her family and surrounding environment. So one woman educates 5 additional members of the family. The return on investment of working to protect young women through education is obviously extremely high. In refugee camps and fragile contexts, as well as in Tokyo, at the highest academic level, as well as for the most basic skills, education of women is always a great investment. President Okazaki has spoken to us about a journey. I look forward to collaborating on this journey with the Institute, its founders, its presidents, its professors, its students, And I see a very, very bright future which we can help to build together. In the words of Mother Bharat, come, my room is always open, as is my heart. Everyone in the Rett field also knows this. As I say, my door is always open, which means not only my heart, but it means that I will always be available to everyone to come into my world, our world, through today's means of communications. And that means today, emails, mobile technology, social media. I'm always reachable. So thank you very much for having me here. I send you my sincerest gratitude and support for the creation of the Sacred Heart Institute for Sustainable Futures. Arigatou gozaimasu.